Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how to take stunning photos on your iPhone Air. Your iPhone Air is equipped with just one camera, but it's a 48 megapixel fusion camera, which means that it can, first of all, take better night photos because it can actually fuse into 12 megapixels instead of 38, and 12 is still really great because 12 is still 4K and those pixels then get bigger because one pixel is contained of 4 pixels, so they just have a better lighting and it's better for night photos. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that it has better zoom, because when you zoom in twice it looks like it's 12 megapixels still, so it's still 4K when zoomed in twice. So it's just a lossless zoom. It's a digital zoom. They market it as optical zoom, but don't worry about it. It's digital. It's still digital, but it is lossless, so you just still have all the quality and it's great. Now let's go to the camera app and talk about all the different features that we have here, because there's quite a lot of them, and you may want to look into that. So first, let's quickly talk about the front camera, because front camera on all the new iPhones from 2025, including iPhone Air, iPhone 17, 17 Pro Max and 17 Pro, have a so-called center stage camera, which means that you can actually rotate your selfie without rotating your phone. So you can see I can take the horizontal selfie with my phone still being vertical, which is great. Now you can also zoom in on or out on the photo. So if you want to fit more on the photo, then you can zoom out. And you can also change into portrait mode. Portrait mode is achieved with this F button, which stands for aperture of the camera. Here we only have digital aperture, but it's still looking pretty great. It's blurring out some parts of the photo, and when portrait is enabled, you can actually click on this cube here and change into studio light, control light, stage light mono, or high key light mono, and you can test them out on yourself. Now let's switch back to the back camera, because back camera now, as you can see, when I click on 2x, it will take a 2x photo, of course, but not only will it take a 2x photo just as a digital zoom, but as I said, it'll make it look like it's taken from a telephoto lens, even though there's just one lens. And the maximum zoom is up to 10 times. Of course, in 10 times you're gonna have some losses in the quality, but they are not as major. I personally would suggest you either taking photos at 1 or 2x and not really more. Of course, you can take a photo at more and it's gonna have a better quality, but in some cases, when you don't really need to zoom in, you don't really need those details in the zoom, I would recommend you to take a photo at 2x. If you're, for example, thinking about 2x or 3x, in my opinion, it's better to take a 2x photo, then crop it in editing, than taking a 3x photo. But of course, if you need a 10x photo, then it's better to take it straight away, because it's gonna process it better for better results later. Now when we click on the 6 dots in top right corner, we have all the different settings here, and of course we have the aperture, which I've already shown you. For the front one, for the back one, you can also do it. You can enable live photo. What live photo is when you take a photo, it pre-records about 2 seconds and post-records 2 seconds. So let me show you that. I'm gonna take a live photo. I'm just moving my phone, you know, whatever. And now when I go into that photo, it looks like a photo, but when I press and hold on it, take a live, it's actually moving. So that's great. Now what we can also do is, later on I'm gonna talk about the camera control button because it's also quite interesting. But now let's speak about, I'm gonna switch the exposure to 0. Let's speak about styles. Styles is also quite a fresh feature. I think it was released on iPhone 16 line and it's available on the newer ones as well. You can switch between different filters, of course, within some range of reasonability, because sometimes, you know, people tend to get a bit too crazy with the filters. But here the filters won't alter your appearance, they just alter the tone, the color and stuff like that on the photo. And yeah, you can just change to different styles, and those styles also can be adjusted. You can change their intensity by adjusting the slider at the bottom. You can also completely change the filter by changing around this square, and it will change the tone and the color. Moving up or down changes the tone, and moving right or left changes the color. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is exposure. And we have exposure here as a button, and it's gonna change the exposure of the whole photo just regularly. But what I prefer, and I think works better in most cases, is when you take a photo, there's a high chance the photo may look overexposed. No, it's like crazy overexposed. But yeah, when you take a photo, it may look overexposed, and it's normal. Because phones tend to overexpose photos. Like, I haven't seen a phone that doesn't overexpose photos. And what it means is it makes the photo too bright. So what you can do is click on the element that's the most important in the photo, and it'll either automatically adjust the exposure, or you can click on it, then slide the sun a little bit down. In some cases, you actually will prefer to move it a little bit up, but in most, you prefer to move it just tiny bit down, and it'll give that photo that, you know, that mood, and it'll look really great. Now let's speak about the camera control button. I'm gonna close the camera app, and now when I click on the camera control shortly, okay, it asks me to click again. Let's do it. It opens the camera app. Now I can very lightly press on it, not click, just press lightly until you see this. And now you can slide. And now I'm in exposure control, so I can change the exposure by sliding across this touch sensitive button. I can double press, not click, double press, without releasing the finger, just like apply some pressure to press, but not to click. You'll feel a little vibration when you do that. So when I double press, I'm changing between exposure, depth, which is the aperture, zoom, cameras, or styles, or tone. And I'm gonna get to zoom. Now I can press, not click, and now I can slide to zoom in or zoom out. This is great, especially for videos, because you can very slowly and precisely zoom in or out. And clicking on the button takes a photo or a video. Okay, now let's get to video mode when we're speaking about that. And in video, it is worth looking into the top left corner first, and you'll see resolution and frame rate. If you want a better resolution to have a better quality video, switch it to 4K. But remember, it'll take more storage on your phone, so in cases when you don't need it, just leave it on HD. And frame rate. If you want a very smooth video, you may want to set it to 60. But videos typically in movies, in movie theaters or cinemas, whatever, they are actually typically recorded at 24 or 30. And that's because it looks more natural. I know it may sound weird for some, but yes, a 24 or 30 FPS video is smooth, isn't smoother, but it's more natural. And 60 is smoother but less natural. So it's worth looking at that. Also, a 60 frame per second video is gonna take more storage, and but 60 allows you to later slow down the video without losing the smoothness. So that's great. You can smooth it, you can slow it down by half and it'll still be smooth. Where if you slow down 30 by half, it's not gonna be smooth by any means. If you ever saw a movie called A Trip to the Moon, then you probably saw how that movie wasn't smooth at all, and it's because it was recorded at 16 frames per second. Now let's see something more in the video. So we already know about the quality and FPS. Let's click on 6 dots, and there is action. Action not always can be used. Sometimes it's impossible to use it, but action mode, and I'm gonna explain why, but action mode is a better stabilization for the photo, for the video. So even if your phone is shaking, or for example running with the phone, it's still gonna look like it's very static and like it's on some sort of gimbal or stuff like that, even though you have it in a hand and it's shaking. And the disadvantage of it is it requires a lot of light. So in darker lighting conditions, action mode won't work. But I'll give you a short comparison, and it'll both compare the brightness as well as the, okay, I think I have it somewhere else in the, okay, I have it on my different iPhone, so I'm gonna bring my different iPhone just for a moment. It's gonna be an iPhone 17, but action modes work the same on both, so it's okay for me to do that. Here's my iPhone 17, and here is a video in action mode. You can see it is very, very dark, but when I turn the brightness a little bit up, just so you can see how smooth it is, you can see it's sort of moving, but not too much. I think I may need to bring the exposure a little bit up on my camera that I'm recording with. You can see it's dark because it was dark outside, but it's smooth compared to a different video that I recorded on a different iPhone without that action mode. So let's see. Oh, no, I did not want to send my contacts. Let's bring them further away. Now this one, they were both like technically in the same scenario, and you can see they are completely different when it comes to stability. So that's what action mode is for, and I think it's a really good feature. Now I'm gonna go back to the previous setup of the camera, and let's go to the camera again. And now if you'd like to take a macro photo is from a low distance from the object. Cameras typically aren't good at taking photos from low distance because they have a certain focus range, and typically that range is at least half a meter from that object. Half a meter is, as far as I'm concerned, something about a foot or even less than a foot or above a foot. I'm not really good into imperial systems. I don't really know, but it's a pretty high distance if you want to take something from a low distance. So this phone allows you to, does it? No, it does not. So sorry, I just got mistaken. Other iPhones do allow you, but this one just has one camera, so it can't really. The other ones that have ultra wide camera do support it. But never mind. There's still a mode that's really great, which is night photo. You can see this moon here at the top, and 4 means 4 seconds, and it means it's gonna take a photo for 4 seconds. It's gonna take 4 seconds to take the photo, and that times lets the camera capture more light into it. But what's important here is you cannot move your iPhone during that photo. It has to be very still to not be blurred out. And you can adjust it by clicking on 6 dots, night mode, and you can set it to auto, max, which is the maximum available in a certain amount of seconds, or just disable it. So that's how you take night mode photos. And they are gonna just make the light look better. Now let's go to something else. Also for videos, the night mode is available? No, it's not, as I expected. Now slow-mo. If you want to record a slow motion video, go to slow-mo mode, and then you can here adjust the frame rate, 120 or 240. 240, it's gonna take more storage on your phone, but allows you for even bigger slow-mos. You can slow it down by like 10 times, I think, and it's still gonna look smooth. And 120 allows you to slow down by 5 times. Then hyperlapse or time-lapse allows you to record a video that is sped up. And why use time-lapse instead of standard video? Because first of all, it takes less storage. Second of all, it's already pre-edited, so you don't need to edit it later to speed it up. And speeding up a video isn't that easy, honestly. Now let's go to photo modes. There's a portrait mode, which I've already explained. This is basically the same thing as if you were in photo and enabled and changed the aperture. Yeah, I had that aperture. Do you remember that? I think you do. But yeah, we can find it in portrait. It's for making portraits. And now the last one is panoramic photo. So when you do that, you can simply you can click on the arrow, by the way. And if you want a vertical one, you can just hold your phone horizontally. But I'm gonna do a horizontal one. And now when I start taking a photo, I can move my phone. I need to make sure to follow the center line. So if I move my phone up or down, you can see the arrow moves. I need to follow the center line. And it's gonna take a panoramic photo. But from a low distance, it's gonna look bad. It's better from a high distance, like for example, capturing the mountains or stuff like that. And it's just gonna take a wider photo. That's why it's called panorama. And these are all the things that I wanted to show you to make your photos look better. I hope that you learned something new from the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also ask more questions in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.